Okay, you guys, we are going to be doing some diamond practice. This is going to be very important for you to know how to do the diamond practice to be able to factor, and that's why we're doing that. So this is like part one of the video series. I'm going to do another video on actually how to factor using the diamond and the generic rectangle. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to first go over this part right here. So A times B and A plus B. So pretty much what happens is we got to find, so the way this works is these numbers right here have to multiply to give you the top, and these numbers right here, like A and B, have to add to get to the bottom. Right? I know they're variables right now, but that's what they're going to be, numbers. So we're going to say the top is your product, where you have to multiply. The bottom is your sum, where you have to add. Okay? So you have to figure out what these two numbers are going to be. To multiply, these numbers have to multiply to give you the top, and they have to add to give you the bottom. That's how you solve a diamond problem. So let's try an example. It'll make more sense when we do that. So we have 14. We know it's multiply to give you 14. Two numbers multiply to give you 14. And then you add to give you 9. So the first thing you want to do is that, well, we know, let's get the factors of 14. Two things that multiply to 14. So we have 14. Make a little T-chart. And I know something that multiplies to 14 is 1 times 14. But if you do 1 plus 14, because 14 times 1 is 14, but 1 plus, so that gives you the top, but 1 plus 14 gives you 15, which will not give us 9. So that doesn't work. So let's try another one. 2 times 7. Well, 2 times 7 gives you 14. 2 times 7 gives you 14, but does 2 plus 7 give you 9? Well, yeah, it does. It does. 2 plus 7 gives you 9, and you found what you needed. And that's what we wanted to find was these two parts of the diamond. Okay? Let's go with one where there's variables involved, okay? So we're going to go to number 2. And really, when there's a variable involved with x squared, before you even start the problem, you're going to put an x here and an x here, because x times x is x squared. And when you add like terms, it will work out, okay? So let's find the factors of 42. Remember, we're multiply on top, multiply, and add on bottom. So 42x squared. Let's figure out some things and multiply to 42. Let's find some factors of 42. So I know that 1 times 42 gives us what we want. It gives us 42, but if you add those, it doesn't work. It does not give you 13. Let's try 2 times 21. Doesn't add to 13. Then let's try 3 times 14. That doesn't give you 42. And if you're struggling to find things that multiply to 42, just do 42 divided by 1, 42 divided by 2, 42 divided by 3, and see if it gives you another number, a whole number, okay? And then if we do 42 divided by 4, that's not going to give us anything we want. 42 divided by 5, that's going to be a decimal. 42 divided by 6, well, 6 times 7 gives us 42. Does 6 plus 7 add to 13? Yes, it does. So we found it. So we have 6x and 7x. So when you do 6x times 7x, 6 times 7 is 42, x times x squared. Then we have 6x plus 7x. Those are like terms, right? They have the same variable, same exponent. Then you just do 6 plus 7 is 13x. That's all you do. And it works. So our answers we found were here. Okay. Let's go to another problem. Let's go with one where it's not all positive. So let's go to number 3. Number 3 is 18 and negative 11. And I'm just going to cross this out right here. because it will confuse you because we were just looking at this example up here, okay? So we got to find multiply on top and add on bottom. Only deal is we have a negative down here. So 18, let's make a T-chart. Things that multiply to 18. The trick to this, when there's a diamond with a negative on the bottom, you automatically need to know when there's a negative on the bottom, these are going to be negatives because a negative plus a negative will give you a positive. A negative times a negative will give you a positive. So when there's a negative on the bottom and a positive on top, the trick is they're both negatives. So let's go with the first thing. So 18, things multiply, well, -1 times -18. And that's not going to add to -11. -2 times -9. Sorry about that. -2 times -9. If you do -2 plus -9, that gives you -11. So we found it. -2 times -9 will give you 18. Two negatives multiplied together give you a positive. So if you have a calculator handy and you struggle with your negative multiplication and division, then I would use your calculator when you're doing this. Then we have -2 plus -9. Well, we have -2 plus -9. You just add them. So it's -2 plus negative is -11. So that works for us. How much time?
6 minutes.
All right, let's go to number 4. Let's do one with variables, okay? The variables, all it is when there's an x squared here, here's the trick. Here, you know you're going to have an x here and an x here. And we also know the trick is there's a negative on bottom and a positive on top. So we know it's going to be a negative and a negative. So we know that all right off from the bat. Okay, so let's find our factors of 30x squared. So things that multiply to 30. And we know it's going to be a negative times a negative. So 1 in 30 is not going to give us 17. So we'll put it down there anyway. 1, -1, -30. All right. That does not add. -1 plus -30 does not give us -17 because we're doing multiplication and adding. Multiply to get to the top. These two numbers have to multiply to get you to the top, and then add to give you the bottom. Let's try another one. Well, 32, does 2 times something give us 30? Well, -2 times -15, that gives us 30. Let's see if we add these. Does that give us -7? Yeah, it does. It gives us -17. Now, you could keep going if you didn't see that right away. -3 times -10, that doesn't add to that. And you could keep going, but we already know that we have this as our answer. -2x, -15x. Okay? And that's how you do it. Here's our answers. Okay? Let's go to another one. What time?
We have enough time to do one more.
Let's do one more. So now we have a negative on top and a positive on the bottom. So this brings us to our next trick. If there's a negative on top and a positive on the bottom, we know it's going to be a negative and a positive right here. And we know it's x squared, so we know it's going to be x and x. Now we just got to find the numbers, okay? So we have -20x squared, and then we have, so we figure out some things and multiply to 20. Well, we know that it's going to be 1 times 20, and figure out where you want to put the negative at, but we'll do that later. Then we have 2 times 10. 3 doesn't go into 20. 4 does, though. 4 times 5. Now, we see these numbers are really close together. If we put a negative on one of these, because we know it's negative and positive, if we do a negative, we got to get a positive 1x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a negative on the smaller number. So -4 plus 5, that will give us positive 1. And a negative times a positive gives us a negative, okay? So it becomes -4x and 5x. And that's all there is to it, you guys. And this is part 1 of the video of the diamond practice, which will help us with factoring. Thank you.